Hey guys, and welcome back to War Thunder. I'm here on a random battle on jungle, but that's what I'm not here to talk to you guys about. I'm here to talk to you guys about some Sturmtiger hype, because whilst I was trolling the internet yesterday, and most specifically on the War Thunder Reddit, I seen that somebody found within the game files in War Thunder the 380mm gun for the Sturmtiger. So that is major Sturmtiger hype right there. Could it be that the Sturmtiger might be coming into the game? It's possible that the gun might have just been in there by default, as in it might have been there for like a long time now, or it could have actually been a recent change. But knowing what Gaijin has been like recently in the game, and adding the stuff like Calliope, rockets and whatnot, I wouldn't doubt if they add even more ridiculous vehicles to the game, like the Sturmtiger, and that would be absolutely insane. To be honest with you guys, I'm really looking forward to that, because although the Sturmtiger wasn't really meant to be a tank-on-tank sort of vehicle, there are some unofficial accounts that the Sturmtiger was able to take out a number of Shermans, which is kind of ridiculous within itself, knowing what the Sturmtiger is like. It's mostly just meant to be used for destroying structures and defensive positions. But for it to kill actual tanks, that is quite impressive. Now, I don't imagine it would do that with relative ease though, because put it like this. Alright, Sturmtiger, 380mm gun. Alright? It was massive. It was like a short stubbed kind of looking gun that was mounted on the right hand side of the tank. I'll show you guys some screenshots. Each round weighed about 250 kilos. It was massive, each single one. And so massive that the Sturmtiger could maybe hold about 14 rounds, and one of them had to be already loaded within the gun itself. So this tank was no joke. It was no joke when it was actually used. And although the unfortunate thing is, well, put it like this: the Sturmtiger wasn't meant for tank-on-tank action. It came as a result of the loss of the Battle of Stalingrad, where there was a lot of hand-to-hand sort of combat, and the Germans took a lot of losses as a result of the Battle of Stalingrad. And Hitler didn't want to take so many losses. He just wanted to just pulverize the enemy, flatten the cities, make it easy, simplify that equation. In fact, he wanted divisions of Sturmtigers to be laying waste to these defensive positions and cities and whatnot. He optimistically said that he wanted about 350, around that range, of these rounds from a Sturmtiger being used per month. That was his goal. That's what he optimistically wanted to be happening. And you can imagine what kind of devastation that would wreak or bring onto the enemy. 350 of those rounds? Really? Holy balls. Be absolutely insane. The only unfortunate thing is that when the Sturmtiger actually came out at the end of 1944, in 1945, around that range, was that, well, the Germans were pretty much on the defense. So they didn't get to use them as they were intended to be used, because the Sturmtigers could penetrate about 2.5 meters of reinforced concrete. It was a bunker buster, essentially. These rocket propelled rounds were essentially bunker busters, destroying structures with absolute ease. But at that stage, Germany was just on defense. So I mean, how many times or occasions would there be, you know, Allied bunkers stopping German advance? It just wasn't happening at that stage. They were being surrounded from every side, the east, the west, the south, and it just was not looking good for them. So unfortunately, Sturmtiger didn't get to have an absolutely amazing time or show its full potential. I mean, it was used in the Warsaw uprisings and whatnot, but unfortunately it didn't get to show its full potential. But the thing is, imagine the Sturmtiger in War Thunder. I think at the moment, what, the KV-2 is the King of Derp. Now, a 380 would just outclass it completely. I mean, that's more than double the size. It'd be ridiculous. But I mean, there's other things to consider with the Sturmtiger as well. It could actually be a tank that would work in War Thunder, because the 380 would definitely kill stuff if it gets hit, especially if it's like a high explosive round. I don't even want to imagine what that would be like for devastation on an enemy vehicle. Holy jeez, that guy was on his side. What the hell? But in terms of like viability, the tank could survive because it had a maximum speed of about what, 40 kilometers per hour. That's not bad. That's actually not too bad for a tank. I mean, I could name off a lot worse ones than that. And it had about 150 millimeters of armor on the front at an angle of 47 degrees. So when you consider the angle, the effective thickness is like well over 200 millimeters. That is pretty damn tough. And now you have to start imagining if this tank was actually in War Thunder, what tier would it be at? It'd have to be like tier 3 or 4. And you know, tier 3s would have a hard time penetrating over 200 millimeters effective thickness at the front. That'd be absolutely ridiculous. So maybe tier 4, I don't know, maybe late tier 3. You'd have to see, otherwise probably flank around it. And you'd have to imagine once the full damage system comes out in War Thunder, what it'd actually be like. Whoa, there's a tank right there. I'm so busy talking, I'm not even realizing that there's tanks in front of me. I'm just so hyped up about the Sturmtiger. Gaijin hasn't really done a whole lot, it seems like, in terms of actually introducing destructible environments and whatnot to the game just yet. They talked about it back in August with a video, teaser sort of thing, but they haven't really said anything about it ever since. And I talked about it in one of my previous videos about the Calliope, I believe. But when that system of actual destructible environments comes out so that you can collapse buildings and whatnot, oh my gosh, the Sturmtiger would be absolutely insane. That's all I could say. Wow, that was some terrible aim right there. That was actually really bad aim. No, what is that? What was that? Was that lag? I think that might have been lag. Very strange, very strange. We'll shoot again once his turret's fine. Once he's got his guy back. Not sure if he's got his guy back. He does. He does. I need to start repairing. No, my turret is so slow, it can't keep up. Okay, right, we'll get repaired. I wonder if that Stug is even gonna see me. There is no way that he can miss me, dude. There's no way. Yeah, he's seen me. That sucks. Let's just drop my artillery on him. Maybe I'll get a kill. Who knows? But I kind of wonder if they actually introduce the Sturmtiger into the game when there's no destructible environments, then how effective is it actually going to be? Is it going to have heat shells, or not heat shells, but high explosive rounds? Is it going to have armor piercing rounds? What is it going to have? But also consider the fact that the rounds go at 250 meters per second. It's a rocket propelled round as well. So maybe that in itself would actually be kind of strange for War Thunder. Maybe they would have to program it differently. I'm not sure, because the shells actually had two stages to them. It had a liquid stage that propelled it initially 40 meters per second, and then a solid stage that made it go up to 250 meters per second, which 250 meters per second is quite fast, but I don't think that's actually that fast compared to other tank shells out there. So how effective would it actually be against an enemy vehicle? When I still think about, you know, something that weighs 350 kilos or 250, and that's that big of a round hitting a tank at that speed, I just don't imagine good times. I just don't imagine good times at all. But also, what kind of role would this tank have on the battlefield? Would it be like, I don't know, would it be a tank that is meant to be on the front line? Because we have scouts that are meant to be fast and nimble, they have weak armor, blah blah blah. We have heavy tanks that can soak up shots, we have tank destroyers that are essentially glass cannons. What would be the Sturmtiger? What role would it actually fill in? I definitely think that when there's destructible environments, that answer would come quite quick. Especially if it could like blow up bunkers, blow up cover that enemies are hiding behind. That would be absolutely amazing. Like if they're hiding behind a rock, just blow up the rock and all of a sudden they're exposed. If they're hiding behind a building, blow up the building. Maybe the building will collapse on top of them. It'd be insane. But I imagine if they did get introduced into the game, it'd probably be a premium, because I think something like 18 or 19 only existed in real life, the Sturmtigers. And a lot of times they were just abandoned because when they ran out of rounds, or if they ran out of fuel, which they only had a range of like 70 kilometers or something like that, 70 miles, then they would just get abandoned simply. So I imagine it would probably be a premium vehicle if it was added to the game. The only hope that I have is if the Sturmtiger gets introduced, that's not going to cost an arm and a leg like the Calliope. I mean, okay, the Calliope is very good, and it costs a lot, so I guess this cost is supposed to put off the fact that it's so good, but, well, I don't think something should be, you know, amazing, but then it's essentially pay to win, where you pay money in order to get something that's absolutely amazing. I don't think it should be that case. I think it should be balanced up and relatively affordable. That'd be nice. Wow. Solid wreck. Can I go inside? This would be interesting. Can I actually go inside? Oh. No, I can't. It's solid. How? So my question to you guys is, what do you think about the Sturmtiger? Do you think it would make sense in War Thunder? Are you looking forward to it? Alright guys, leave your comments in the comment box below. But anyway, until the next video, this is Krebs, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Now we blasting off into the ozone. The way we kick it in the dojo is local for show, though we paving the road that's opposed to the dodo.